everyone, welcome back. I hope you're doing amazing. I'm going to be showing you how I made this DIY African black soap wash. This feels very soothing and hydrating on your hair and your scalp. It's made with some lovely hydrating ingredients that your hair is sure to love. So I'm going to show you my process step by step how I make this black soap wash. So let's get started. And if this is your first time stopping by, my name is Esther and I make DIY hair and skincare videos, and I also sell my handmade products online on my website, as well as teaching online formulating classes. Everything I mentioned will be linked in the description box. So let's jump right in. Using my digital scale, I'm going to weigh out my ingredients, and the complete formula recipe is going to be at the end of this video. So I'm starting out with some authentic African black soap. This is packed with so many minerals, vitamins. It's going to help cleanse your hair, exfoliate your scalp. So it's good for a dry, itchy scalp. I'm adding in some apple cider vinegar powder. So this is good for also cleansing your hair of oil buildup. It's also good for an itchy scalp as well. So this is very soothing on the scalp. If you don't have this powder, you can use the liquid apple cider vinegar. I'm just giving this a quick mix to get the apple cider vinegar powder to dissolve a bit. And I'm just going to let this sit for a few hours so that way the black soap can completely dissolve. I think I left it for about 2 hours or so. So I'm just going to cover this up with some foil, set it aside until the black soap dissolves. After about 2 hours, my black soap had completely dissolved. So what I like to do, I like to strain my black soap mixture because black soap is made with plantain ash. So when it dissolves, you might see some black particles. So I'm just going to use my strainer to strain the mixture to get rid of those tiny black particles. I'm adding in some colloidal oats. This is very soothing on your scalp. It's also going to help hydrate your hair and scalp, as well as soothing an itchy scalp. I'm also using some coconut milk powder. This is also going to help add moisture to your hair strands because it has high levels of vitamins that's going to nourish your hair. I'm also adding in some honey powder. This is a humectant, so it's going to help attract moisture to your hair and your scalp. After mixing, I had quite a bit of foam on the surface of my black soap. That is perfectly okay. I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to work on my thickener. I'm using some xanthan gum soft. This is going to help thicken up the black soap wash. You can also use guar gum as a substitute, or you could use HEC. And I'm going to add in some vegetable glycerin to help mix up the xanthan gum. This is also a humectant that's going to attract moisture to your hair. You just want to give this a good mix to make sure there are no lumps from the xanthan gum. For my preservative, I'm using Yuxil PE 9010. This is going to help stop the growth of bacteria, yeast and mold. As this is a water-based product, you are going to need a preservative. I'm just adding it here because it's not a very water soluble preservative, so the glycerin helps this mix into the black soap wash. I'm going to be adding in some Oliven 300. This is going to help blend in some essential oils. I'm going to be using rosemary essential oil. This smells so good. And I'm also adding in some lavender essential oil, and both of these essential oils help to stimulate hair growth. I went ahead and added the thickener to the black soap, and I just gave it a good mix. You really want to agitate the mixture so that way it can start to thicken up. I used my mini whisk to do this, but honestly it did not mix it quick enough. The best way to do this, honestly, if you have a stick blender, go ahead and use your stick blender and just pulse it for maybe 10 to 15 seconds and it will thicken up much faster. But so far my mixture is still on the runny side. It will start to thicken up some more after some time. But so far this is what it looks like. I'm just going to go ahead and check the pH. I weighed out about 2 grams of the mixture to 18 grams of distilled water. I gave it a good mix and then I used my pH meter to take the reading, and the initial reading is at 9.20. So I added some 50% citric acid, I believe about 10 drops, and I just mixed this very well and I let it sit for about 1 to 2 minutes, and then I rechecked the pH a second time following the same steps. The pH is at 9.03, so I added about 15 drops of my 50% citric acid solution and gave it a quick mix again, and then I let it sit for about 1 to 2 minutes, and then I rechecked the pH following the same steps again. The final pH is at 8.77 and I'm honestly okay with this pH. With African black soap, you honestly cannot pH balance African black soap. It is a soap that falls in a high pH range, anywhere from 9 to 10, and if you keep trying to balance the pH, lower the pH, the soap can lose its ability to cleanse and it's not going to lather. So that is what my pH is, and my mixture is still quite runny. I used a second whisk that I had to try to get it to thicken up even quicker. But like I said, if you have a stick blender, just go ahead and use the stick blender. You will save yourself a lot of time. But what I did, I just went ahead and I just set this aside overnight. That way it could just take its time to thicken up, and so all the bubbles and lather could also reduce. So I just covered it up with some foil and set it aside. The next day, this is what my African black soap wash was looking like. So the foam and lather has completely disappeared, it's all gone, and my mixture had thickened up slightly. It was much thicker than the previous day. So this is what the consistency, viscosity is looking like. So it is entirely up to you. I personally don't like super thick washes. But if you want a thicker wash, you can definitely adjust your thickener. So if you're using xanthan gum, just increase the amount for a thicker wash. But this is what mine is looking like after 24 hours. But I love how it turned out. I'm just going to package this up. I'm really happy with how this African black soap wash turned out I wanted to make a more hydrating wash without having to add oils, and this feels really hydrating on your hair. So I'm going to go ahead and post the formula here in percentages and also in grams. I'm going to show you how this African black soap wash applies on the hair and how it feels on the scalp. So you want to start off with your hair saturated with water, completely saturated with water, and you can apply as much or as little as you would like of the African black soap wash, and just apply this all over your hair, your scalp, massage it on your scalp. The smell of this wash, it smells so good with that essential oil blend. It feels so good on the scalp. It really feels so soothing, especially for me because I have dry scalp. So this wash felt so good. The lather was amazing as well. So I just followed up after rinsing this off with a conditioner. As this is a wash with a higher pH, make sure you use a conditioner afterwards and just follow up with your regular hair care routine. But I hope you enjoyed my process, you enjoyed this formula. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, like this video as well, and don't forget to turn on your notifications. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.